What's going on there, guys? Good evening. Good Friday evening. It is the Earthmaster here, along with my beautiful co-host, Missy Mimi's.
How's it going, guys?
She is not feeling super good tonight. She's got a little bit of cold going on, so I told her she can skip out of tonight's update, but she wanted to jump in here and interact and say hi to everyone out here. So we appreciate Missy Mimi's being here tonight. She will be up here on the question and answer show a little bit later on after this update. But looking at the latest movement here on the Earthquake 3D globe. By the way, it is Friday, right? April 15th, 2022, about 7:27 p.m. California time. 3.2 earthquake into the South America region there. This one here about 142 kilometers deep for that earthquake. By the way, we are live here on YouTube and also Facebook, by the way. And we need to make sure you get over to Facebook and like the... follow us, right? Follow us on the Facebook platform for future updates as well. We're trying to get to 10,000 followers there on Facebook. It's a little bit harder. I know we got the YouTube fan and a Facebook fan, but man, get over there and follow the Facebook page as well. All right, latest quake information here from the USGS. We're going to start out here just on the all magnitudes map here real quick, and we'll check out the latest data. Recent earthquake here on the map near the, what is that, Celeb Sea?
The Celebes.
Celebes Sea. That's right. Thank you for being here. Right? Oh, goodness. 4.2 coming in at 87 kilometers below the surface for that earthquake. A little bit of movement here over the last 24 hours. Kind of want to back out here and take a look at the broader view of the movement. It has been pretty much wide scale throughout the Philippine plate here on the western side, and also throughout the Solomon Islands, Indonesia, and up into the northern end of the Java Trench, where we've seen a couple earthquakes here kick up over the course of the 24-hour period as well. No major adjustment yet, just a couple 4s and 5s. A little bit of earthquake activity here on the northern end of the Solomon Sea, around the Vanuatu and the Papua New Guinea area. Nothing, though. Look at this. Nothing really going on here around the Tonga, Fiji area. Things look pretty quiet in this region, and that's kind of odd. Expect we should see some deeper movement here taking place and some larger scale activity here pretty soon in the area of Fiji and Tonga. Let's go ahead and zoom in to the big island of Hawaii, where it's been relatively active in terms of earthquake activity. We haven't seen any major adjustment going on with the volcanoes there, but we did see some 4s kick off here earlier today. We'll go ahead and go to the 2.5 and above. You can see that movement, a 4.3 and also a 4.6, shaking things up there on the big island on the southeast flank here around the hill in the slump. That is an area to watch for sure for possible future, activity, right? It's been very active here in the southeastern region. This has been actually an area that sees typical swarming since about the 1960s. There is a little article here in regards to why that is happening. Not going to go into that tonight, but man, it's kicking up here today with about 47 earthquakes here on the Big Island. And of course, this is the all magnitudes map here. A little bit of movement kicking off here towards the Loihi Seamount, just offshore, but nothing specifically there. All remains at least stable with the volcanoes there on the Big Island. Let's go ahead and check out activity here on the Gulf of Alaska. Seeing a little bit of movement here today towards this region, right along the Alaska and the Canada region, right around the Mount Logan area, it looks like, just to the southwest. Excuse me. Got a barbecue going outside right now, and we're cooking the meat with some black walnut bark, and man, it smells good, but inhaling smoke, not the best for your lungs, let me tell you. So I'm sitting here hacking up a lung.
But it tastes good.
It does. It will. Well, the smoke doesn't taste good. It smells good, but the meat definitely does taste good for sure.
That smoked taste, though.
Oh yeah, I can't wait. So it'll be ready hopefully after this update, unless we burn it and it turns into bacon.
I'll still eat it.
Right?
Throw some hot sauce on it is good.
I'm good on the hot sauce. We'll pass. A little bit of movement into the Gulf and also throughout the Denali southward area into Anchorage. No major activity throughout the Aleutian Trench here. I'm not seeing anything, at least on this map. So yeah, a bunch of ones and some microquake activity throughout the Aleutian Trench and the islands area. One earthquake here, which is kind of odd, 4.7 in the Kuril Islands, right in the middle of this area, this trench right here, the Kuril Kamchatka Trench. And this area here hasn't really seen any major adjustment. Yes, we've seen that 7.3 in the Japan Trench a couple weeks ago now, but we're still watching this area right here. It's a very high, it's got a very high slip rate in terms of increasing pressure in a short amount of time in the subduction zone. So got to watch that area pretty closely. Into the East China Sea, some fours kicking off here on the western side of the Pacific or the Philippine plate, and also a very deep earthquake of 4.5, 505 kilometers here on the northern end of the Philippine plate. This is a subduction zone here of the, I don't know if I want to pronounce that trench right here.
The Izu Agasawara Trench.
Okay.
Agasawara?
Sawara?
Yeah.
All right, hopefully we did not.
Hopefully. We may have slaughtered that, but you know what?
It's all, at least we tried, right? I read a comment here. We were talking about this earthquake here in China, and see, this tells me, this shows you guys right there that I read all the comments. And this guy is like, I love how the Earthmaster does not attempt to pronounce the China region names.
Shangri-La?
I'll just say, yeah, there's a 4.7 in China, but I never mention the these names here.
Shangri-La.
There's a reason why. I don't want to go that route. But yeah, you know what? I read every single comment. What else do we have here? I know we've seen a kind of an odd earthquake down here. Where was it?
No, it was above.
Up north, that's right. Into the northern Arctic Ocean up here. Kind of up here on this plate boundary. Yeah, it's way up there. And don't even attempt to pronounce this one. I don't know if you want to or not. It's a 4.2 east of
Severnaya?
Zimlaya? Zimlaya? All right.
Severnaya Zimlaya.
All right. It has been reviewed. 4.2 earthquake there at 10 kilometers. Historical data in this region does show some activity since about 1900 or so. Some 4.5s and 5.0 earthquakes in the region. So definitely seen some activity historically. But, man, it's been a while since we've seen some movement up there in that area of the Arctic Ocean, way up there. Not a whole lot going on throughout the Mediterranean or the Middle East. The African region, pretty quiet. Look at that. Not a whole lot going on throughout the Northern Atlantic or the Southern Atlantic Ocean. We did see some movement here with the South Sandwich Trench earlier. 5.1 at 64 kilometers. But overall, it's just things been very, very quiet in that area. So let's go ahead and zoom into a little bit more detailed here into Northern California. Seeing a little bit of activity here. Southern end of the Cascadia subduction zone. We got a little bit of movement here with a 2.5, the latest quake outside of Petrolia, 10 kilometer depth. Prior to that, we've seen a 2.9 at about 9 kilometers or so offshore, or below the surface, well offshore into the Pacific and the Gorda Plate area. And then we've seen this deeper earthquake here into the subduction zone at 2.6 at 25 kilometers. And that is just almost right, just north of the 2.5 that struck recently. So a little bit of earthquake activity on the questionable side here when it comes to the depths. We've got to watch that pretty closely because that could be a telltale sign of some increased pressure there in the Cascadia. I want to bring up the tremor map tonight. It is not showing anything, but a big shout out to man, I can't remember his name, but I think it was Alan. Mentioned that the PNSN network did update their previous days. Okay, so this goes to show you that they are not reporting the data here at PNSN. Okay, check this out. We're going to go back to yesterday. If you watch any of my previous videos, you'll see that the past 4 days have been absent of tremor activity. Every single update, every single day, every single night, we check this PNSN tremor map, and it's been showing zip, nada, zero, zin. I don't know what else you can say for zero. Espanol?
metal. I'm off today. Just don't
Okay,
even ask
all
me.
right. I won't pick on you. I won't pick on you tonight. So 0 is the big number, right? But look, 20 epicenters here into the southern end of the Cascadia subduction zone. Okay, and that's just yesterday. We can go back to the day before, another 27, southern end of the Cascadia. Go back the day before, another 23, southern end of the Cascadia. Prior to that, on the 11th, some more on the 19 epicenters, southern end of the Cascadia once again. So I don't know what's going on, folks, but I know these guys are not being transparent with the data. They're providing the data days late. Who knows if they're providing the accurate data? Far as we know, the Cascadia right now could be swarming with thousands of tremors up and down the entire section of the Cascadia. But we don't know. I don't have access to that data. I don't have access to the live data that monitors the tremor activity. So we're kind of the little pawns on the chessboard. We have to do what we're told, and we're just there to observe. So we can only see what they are showing us here. But it sucks. It really sucks to be, I don't know, disappointed, I guess, in terms, a little disappointed in the PNSN network that they've done this multiple times now, reported no activity, and then all of a sudden they throw up some tremor activity. But we don't even know if this is the full extent of the activity anymore.
Especially after those large events.
Exactly.
And
Last
those
month.
were even late.
Those were late. We had like 2 weeks of no activity, and all of a sudden they threw 2 weeks of data back on there, hoping that maybe that nobody would notice, and they were up in the 900,000 range of tremor activity in a day.
Not 900,000.
No,
900
900 or 1,000 in a
we
day.
won't scare you guys. 900,000.
900 or 1,000 in one day. So, yeah, because we had one at 900 and 1,004 the next day. So, but we don't. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if we're having 27 or 900,000. 900,000. It doesn't.
Either way, we don't know what they should. That we should know what they're reporting at the time that it's happening.
Yeah, we should be. They should be, dependable.
Honest. Exactly.
And something's going on here. I may message them once again this weekend, find out what's going on. They're going to come up with, well, we had data issues, blah blah blah. You know the story, right, folks? Data issues, errors. We had issues with our computers. Either way, there's been activity, and it's not been reported. Go back and check my previous videos. You'll see that we check this every night. It showed 0. Now there's activity showing up. Let's go ahead and move on, folks. We'll just continue to go with the flow and see how it goes. Movement here in Northern California. Not a whole lot going on up here in Washington as well. I mean, who knows what's going on? I mean, do we really know? In terms of that activity, earthquake activity, we can go to volcanic seismographs and check out the recorded data. Let's go ahead and check out Mount Rainier. They are reporting one earthquake here at Mount Rainier today. Looks like at 0642. We can go ahead and check out some seismographs here, and hopefully this one's working. They've been kind of sketchy looking, to say the least. They've been kind of out of whack in terms of see, look at that. I mean, how is someone supposed to read that?
It's a massive.
It's massive error is what's going on. I mean, you're telling me that these seismographs are not in tune?
Good Lord.
Look at that. It's a mess of...
Looks like my child got a hold of a crayon and decided to have fun.
Well, these are adults getting a hold of expensive seismographs and having fun. That's
Right?
what's going on. And same thing at these other stations around the area. Look at that. How really, guys?
In the world?
Check this out. I mean, this kind of reminds me of the like a TV screen, the older TV screens where there's just nothing but static, right? Look at that.
Yeah, that's basically what it is static. Because there's nothing in there.
Let's go ahead and check this out. Out this one down here, a little bit further south, this yellow one. 3-component broadband station, Mount Rainier, Camp Muir. Okay, so this one's a little bit more, right? This one's a little bit more accurate here. Last couple hours, some earthquake activity. You can see it there. Here's half of one. Another one right here, and a couple of smaller earthquakes. Very small, though. These are microquakes in general. Most of them are. And let's check out the early afternoon and early evening time frame here. Stand by for just a second. And wow, yeah, there's
See,
definitely.
that's what it's supposed to look
This
like.
is what it's supposed to look like. It's not supposed to look overblown like a blown out tire. I mean, these are little bitty microquake swarms here. This one here, a little bit localized with a thin spike on it.
See, now
There's
that's
another
a
one.
beautiful seismograph. That's
Exactly.
what it's supposed to look like.
That's what they all should look like.
Exactly.
So there is some activity kicking up here. Nothing major, but definitely some seismic activity being recorded there at Mount Rainier. Mount St. Helens, let's go ahead and check that out. Oops, where'd we go here? Go back to the Tremor map and go back to Mount St. Helens here. And see what's being recorded. These guys not really showing a whole lot either over the last couple days. I haven't had too many issues with the seismograph. Wow, this is actually picking up quite a bit of activity. And these are definitely earthquakes here at Mount St. Helens over the last few hours. A good handful of them. Nothing big, folks. Definitely in the low, probably 0.5 range, well below 1 in the magnitude. Kind of want to see what this afternoon's quake activity looks like. A little bit of movement. There's a little bit of a larger one here. Prior to the 2020 UTC time, so a little bit earlier this afternoon.
But you notice they're not reporting.
Yeah, they're not. Definitely USGS not reporting anything there at Mount St. Helens. And the PNSN network, last quake on their graph, let's go ahead and check out that here real quick, was on the 14th. So nothing being reported today as far as earthquake activity goes. So I don't know. I guess it's a need to know basis, folks. You don't need to know. So, alrighty. Missy Mimes is gonna step out just for a minute here. Like I said, she is kind of feeling under the weather, but we're gonna continue here with the update and see what's going on here. We'll go ahead and back out of here into the Yellowstone region. Not a whole lot showing up here on the map. You see that? Only one little earthquake down here. Let's go ahead and check out these seismographs, folks. That's the key to monitoring the monitors, so to speak, there when it comes to the geologists. The ones that get paid quite well, actually. Not a whole lot going on, though. I can say this with certainty that there's not a whole lot going on at Yellowstone National Park. A couple small microquakes here within the last few hours, but no major swarms to report there at Yellowstone National Park. That's probably a good thing for now. Working our way back to the west coast here, where we've been having quite a bit of earthquake activity kick up here in Southern California. Seeing this movement kind of spread out regionally. You guys see this push of movement here across Central California into Las Vegas, Nevada. There's a good half circle of earthquake activity in this region. Kind of shows you a general push and strain on the Pacific Plate boundary here, the San Andreas Fault. Got to watch that pretty closely. Most of these quakes here, pretty microquake, but no major quakes, I should say, within this area. But you can definitely see that noticeable arc, if you will, of movement. Some fours, a couple ones, and some smaller quakes in the area of Las Vegas, Nevada. Down in Southern California, we haven't seen too much in terms of significant uptick. San Jacinto Fault Zone and right up against the San Andreas Fault Zone, which is the red dark line here on the map, remains pretty active. The southern segment here, pretty quiet. This is the one to watch. Pretty soon this thing's going to have a big red circle on it with an 8.1 or greater magnitude earthquake in terms of releasing some pressure. It's just a matter of time. The Tijuana, south of Tijuana, some earthquake activity, and even a recent 1.3 outside of Tijuana at 15 kilometers. Here's some earthquake activity that occurred last night at 4.6. We did have an aftershock of a 2.1 quite a few hours after that, but no subsequent movement here being recorded on the map. The rest of the country looks pretty quiet. A little bit of activity outside of El Paso and the Texas area, Pecos, Texas area, and some movement around the El Salvador region as well. Let's see what else we got. South America, some movement, a little bit of, 5.3 it looks like in Chile. Let's go ahead and check out, let's see, we checked out Yellowstone. We checked out the Tremor map. Let's check out Earthquakes Canada here on the scale. Let's see what these guys are reporting. Any further movement here in the Cascadia? Looks like one way up here off the coast of village of Queen Charlotte, BC, 19-kilometer depth for a 1.1. Nothing major going on currently up there in Canada. Solarham.net website. Of course, we had multiple M flares kick up for a little bit, staying pretty enhanced in the low C range from a sunspot that's starting to turn towards us. It's going to be this one right here. This little guy is going to probably pop off a little show here pretty soon for us. 75% chance of C flare, M flare at 20% chance. I think there's a little bit higher probability of that. X flare has been raised up to 5, and that is from the sunspot, which is you can't really see it on here. Kind of off the bin here. I'm not for sure why. This one hasn't been updated, it looks like. This is the most recent image compared to the other ones, and you can see the sunspot here, but it's not numbered. I can't remember what it was called. 2975 and company are eager to return into view. Yes, they are. They're popping off with quite a few flares. So
Look at all that red and yellow.
that was earlier. This here was earlier from the CME that sparked that G2 class storm. The flare activity right here from that sunspot, and it is producing a little bit of global D-layer absorption here on the map currently. Looks like over the western Pacific, east of the Philippines, north of the Papua New Guinea region, with that current flare threat here. And of course, this will amplify. We get these radio blackouts as the flares increase. Right now, currently a C2.1 flare from that sunspot, and even this is kind of delayed here, but it's it says latest, but obviously we can see the latest on this one much more in view. Let's see what else we got here, folks. I think that's about it. We are going to do a real quick question and answer show. So I'm going to have Missy Mimis. Welcome back, Missy Mimis. I know. I hope you feel better. I really do.
Me too.
Hopefully some of the barbecue will help you out a little bit and get back to feeling a little bit better. We're going to do a real quick question and answer show. If you guys have any questions on anything or concerns, any statements, anything like that, maybe you'd like to see something here on the show, or any questions in specific. It doesn't have to be specific. Anything in nature, give us a heads up here on the live stream. Let us know what you guys are talking about. Missy Mimis is here on the chat right now, so we'll see how it goes. I'm just gonna check out a couple faults here. Let's see here. San Jacinto fault zone. That's a big one. That's a major fault zone here. 210 kilometers. Recent surface ruptures. Interval between surface ruptures between 100 and 300 years per segment. 7.5 magnitudes. Look at that MM accumulation 17. Looks like most recent surface rupture within the last few centuries. What do we got? Anybody up here? Anybody up here on the live stream? What do we got here, guys? Lady Edith is saying, feel better, Missy. Thanks there, Ruckman07. I appreciate the kind words. Malibu had a quake. Well, let's go ahead and check them out. I don't remember seeing that down there, but we'll go ahead and check that out as well. Let's see, all magnitudes. It looks like northwest of here, west of there. It did have a 2.2. That was a little bit earlier this morning, it looks like, off of the, I'm not for sure which fault system that is, towards the Malibu Coast fault zone. I want to check that out here real quick. Malibu Coast fault zone. Malibu Coast fault. Let's check this out. 34 kilometers, so it's a pretty small fault system. got several parallel strands. Man, we haven't really seen too much in terms of recent rupture. Pretty low slip rate though, 0.3 interval between major ruptures, uncertain, folks. So there's a lot of uncertainty, right? In terms of when the last big ones were on certain faults. So
we have a question.
what do we got?
I watching YouTube too says he's new here. What difference does the depth of quake make, and what is different between red and white rings on the globe, I'm guessing?
On the globe? Okay, so first question was, what difference does the depth of the quakes make?
Yeah, I'm guessing he's talking about like on the earthquake 3D globe, like maybe how do you tell the difference between a quake that's deep and maybe one that's shallow?
So on the earthquake 3D globe, it's pretty obvious here on terms of rings. If you look here at the rings, the 3.1, for example, here on the blue flag now, it's a pretty deep earthquake. It's raised well off the globe, 314 kilometers down. So if you can imagine here, look at this one. Remember this one right here, this 4.5 in the Philippine plate, directly in the Philippine plate, is at 505 kilometer depth. So that if the rings are raised off the globe sufficiently and very, very far from the globe, it indicates a very deep earthquake. The ring color itself, for example, the newest earthquake here on the earthquake 3D globe is going to be in a green flag. And that includes recent earthquake activity in the white circles, the white rings, indicating some recent earthquake activity. Then these rings start to turn color a little bit, and they start to look like this this pinkish ring a little bit. And then you get into the darker rings. That's all indicating some older earthquake activity. And eventually, after the 24-hour threshold, then they bounce off, and it just kind of recycles. So
awesome. Freebird said, "Can you please add understanding the 4K globe in the description box? It'll help new subscribers. Like we could tag them in this, put this video link in the.
We could, yeah.
Just maybe. In
or
the
I could actually just add it onto the description of the live stream. I don't know. I could have swore I had it on there, far as what it means, but maybe it got deleted somehow. I'll have to double check on that, but that's a good idea. We'll go ahead and add that onto the just a general live stream description here. You should be able to see it pretty. Or we could just add it as a comment. You know, we could pin a comment. That way, when somebody does go to the channel, they can read that right off the bat.
Yeah. What's going on there?
I was doing that.
Oh. I was like, what in the world? We're flashing here.
Strobe light, strobe earthquake 3D.
Let's see. By the way, hi Freebird, and hi Cindy and DQ, and everybody. Thanks for your kind words.
A good shot of NyQuil. I think a good shot of NyQuil would probably help her out, but she unfortunately cannot take NyQuil. Me, if I get sick, I'll take a shot of NyQuil, and I feel pretty good the next day. Or much better anyway, but she can't take any type of sleeping medicine, so she's limited on what she can intake in terms of cold medicine. So.
Yep. So I just have to write it out.
Write it out. There we go.
Like the olden days, let the immune bodies take over. Thank you, Freebird. It's a good idea.
Cody, the sun has been very active lately. Exactly. As we head towards solar maximum here at 20, I believe it's 2025, right? Is when the solar maximum is. Let me double check on that. Pretty certain. Solar maximum, minimum, it goes through a period of years. It's pretty much an 11-year cycle. Solar maximum is coming up here in the year. What is it? Which year is that? Let me see here.
Did you switch? Are you reading, or did you switch back?
I didn't switch back yet.
I was asking because I could just see the globe on here.
Yeah.
Okay, I was just making sure.
I'm trying to think when this. I'm pretty certain that it's 2025. So on average, a solar cycle takes about 11 years to go from one solar maximum to the next, with duration observed varying from about 9 to 14 years. We can get some pretty big storms, folks, during the maximum, such as the Carrington event, which took place back in 1859. It was a major solar flare, very bright solar flare, which caused some blackouts and some power grid issues and some telegraphs to catch on fire back in the 1859 year, September. Yeah, I think it's man, I can't find the when is it? I'm pretty certain that's 2025.
Solar maximum?
Yeah.
I believe so. I think we read about it.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain that we cover that.
2025.
Yeah, 2025. It's going to be between November 2024 and March 2026. But most likely around July 2025 is when the peak of the solar maximum is going to kick in. So that's it's going to be interesting, folks. I mean, we're already pretty active here on the sun. Who knows? We might get that kill shot, which shuts down the power grid or everything else, the internet and the live stream.
Right.
We'll be gone. We'll just disappear in the smoke.
But
Hopefully
we'll
not.
Be back. We'll be back at some point.
Within a couple months or
No,
so, after some recovery.
DQ says, I like how the globe is spinning.
What do you mean?
If you look at it.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, folks. The world has tilted back. Let's go ahead and tilt that back here. Imagine that, seeing the world like
I
that.
told her it's neat looking. She goes, great perspective.
Right? That is pretty cool. I didn't even notice that. That was by accident.
That's pretty funny.
We'll go ahead and fix that back as such. So, Cody, 7 years, 11 years, 75 cycles, 100 year, 200 year, 400 year, all the way to 750,000. All interlace the others.
Solar maximum chaos.
I appreciate that there, Cody, for the info. Definitely knowledgeable in that. Pretty cool. Thank you. What else we got, folks? Anything else going on here?
Cindy goes, we tilted.
We tilted back to normal. Actually, if we had tilted that way, the North American plate, man, that would not be good. That'd be some bad news for us. I think that'd put us in the darkness. What else we got?
I think that.
Is that about it?
This seems like about it as far as questions go.
As far as questions, any more questions, folks? Going once, going twice?
DQ said she loved it, the way the earth was tilted.
Really? Alrighty, guys, we're going to go finish up our barbecue. Please, while you're here, if you do have Facebook, I think everyone has Facebook, guys. So go over and give our page a like on Facebook and make sure you subscribe here on the channel.
And Twitter.
We do have a Twitter account as well. It is, just give us a look. The Earthmaster on Twitter. I believe it's at now NorCal Storms is the profile name. But you can look up the Earthmaster or NorCal Storms.
You'll find our beautiful red sun.
And it is the red sun, indicative of the Earthmaster channel logo. So make sure you go give us a like there on Twitter as well, because we do tweet and whatnot. Facebook and YouTube, of course. Subscribe while you're here. And hope everyone has a good night, folks. We're going to go out and check our chicken. Hopefully we're not eating chicken jerky tonight.
Yeah, I'll still eat it.
Right? We definitely will. All right, guys, we're going to bounce out of here. Have a good night. Stay safe out there.
Have a good night, guys.
Be prepared.